Hi, I'm Chris Cooke, live here from the studio for the good, the bad, and the ugly Atlassian updates. This is the Teams 24 edition. We're going to have lots of hot takes coming from the studio here, and also over in Vegas where Martin Seibert is live and waiting to interview people. Martin, how's it going so far?
Las Vegas is pretty intense for me personally. It's loud, it's bright, it's pretty much in your face. But the good thing is you meet a lot of people that you've known from the past years, and you get to know a lot of new cool people from the Atlassian ecosystem.
Okay, Martin, well, if you go find some people to interview, we'll be back with you shortly.
Thanks, Chris. Back to you in the studio. See you soon.
So, the big news everyone's talking about is Scott Farquhar's departure. He announced it just before the kickoff to Teams, so the air is abuzz with the news. And then when he appeared on stage at the keynote, did not mention it whatsoever, which was confusing and made people feel that the announcement was more for the Atlassian shareholders than the community itself. Now, everyone knows Mike's been quite busy and distracted for the last few years, so there's real worry that the ship is captainless at this moment, and so everyone's talking about who the potential replacement will be. If you were going to go drink every time data center was mentioned at the keynote, you were going to go thirsty. You won't be surprised to hear that Confluence Cloud got a lot of mentions. It can now handle 150,000 users, so definitely better for those bigger enterprise customers. There were 3 venture capitalist bros who were sadly hospitalized after foolishly playing a drinking game where they did a shot every time AI was mentioned on stage. Thoughts of prayers, boys. That being said, the talk around AI has shifted from La La Land to actually delivering tangible benefits to end users. I'm really glad to see Atlassian skip the hype train and not just talk about how AI can be used to spam content. No one needs more content, especially on a larger instance, but what they have done is focused on how AI can summarize. Atlassian intelligence can be used to explain the missing context or connect the dots, and they've used it to harness an improved, deep, unified search across the platform. Now, this feature is really powerful and it's been requested for a long time. And you can do things with it such as search for goals in Atlas and making the tool much more usable. This will be huge. I think it'll be high in demand. And then with Rovo, new announcement, you'll be able to unify this search data not just on the Atlassian platform but beyond, so that you'll be able to tie things together. You'll be able to look for data and the surrounding semantics and context, not just for the Atlassian suite, but for the Google suite as well, Google Drive, Google Docs, and even SharePoint. So the dream is that it'll all be connected together with no silos. Now, if this works, it's going to be so popular, and I predict it'll be quite expensive too, so be prepared to open your wallets. Now, there was a lot of talk about then the options beyond that. To be automated using AI service agents, and this split the community. Some people were really excited by it, some people a bit skeptical and worried about what might be automated and what problems this might cause. So we'll see, we'll watch this space. But the great news on the keynote is that Atlassian Learning will now be free, which will be fantastic, allowing people to level up their learning and everyone get on the same page for Atlassian best practice. The company hub looks really great, and this will make Confluence an even better single source of truth, bringing in information from all the different platforms so that there's an overview and an executive dashboard. AI is also set to make Confluence whiteboards even better, and the tables and lists in Jira just looked a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot more usable, so that's great news for people there. Jira Work Management, the attractive but stupid child of the Atlassian family, has finally been abandoned. It will not be available for purchase by the end of the month, and it will be slowly integrated with Jira software. Now, hopefully this means that Jira software becomes prettier and more intuitive to use while retaining its power. And the new tool will simply be called Jira. Now, this means no change whatsoever for Jira software users. They should just benefit from some feature updates. For Jira Work Management users, they'll be migrated over the next 12 months onto the improved Jira software, and the price will be grandfathered for another year. Other updates: advanced roadmaps are going to be rebranded as Jira Plans. So you have at-a-glance metrics and simpler navigation. And then Atlassian Intelligence are going to give you charts, great insight. So you can just type in a plain English request for what data you want to see, converts it to JQL and gives you your data. And the AI isn't only going to be used to help you make those charts, but also interpret them as well. So it's going to tell you, what does this mean? What are you looking at? What's the trend? What are the important take-home statistics to remember? Now, they did talk about this last year, but it's good to see it's actually going usable and live for end users now. Now, we've heard the rumors, but it has been confirmed this will be the last Teams in Vegas. Next year, Teams 25 is moving to Anaheim, California. Okay, that's all for me from now. Over to you, Martin, and Team Expo Hall in Vegas. Hopefully you found some interesting people to interview.
So what I do like about journalists myself is it's faster.
Yeah.
And if you have to work with lists a lot, then this makes a difference.
Yeah.
What else? They didn't talk about Scott stepping down at all.
Yeah, it was sidestepped altogether. Nobody said a word about it. And probably tomorrow, maybe after the Ted Lasso thing.
Maybe they also think, it's a private thing for
it might
for
be
Scott.
true. It might be true. They probably wouldn't touch it.
What's your take on that, Scott stepping down?
Don't like it, to be very honest. I think the leadership of Scott and Mike has been great. As a community leader myself, I've interacted with Scott and Mike multiple times over dinners, over lunches. As somebody who's seen the ecosystem the last 10 years, we loved what he did. Both of them did together. The End BSM campaign was like a brilliant take that they made together. I'm just hopeful whatever comes next in his journey is good for him. And I understand where he might be coming from to take a break. He's been doing it for a while. He might want to have different aspirations, trying to moving on. And I hope it works out for the Atlassian ecosystem, but we're glad that Mark is still here. So let's hope for the best.
Do you fear that Mike Brooks is going to follow him?
I don't right now, but in a couple of years that answer might change as well. I don't think in the next at least 2 years that may follow suit, because then the leadership might feel a very disorganized kind of a way. But I think for the next couple of years that's not happening, because Atlassian had always given this very stable approach, right? And until somebody else steps in and takes over that big responsibility of leading such an ecosystem, I don't think Mark will step down, but that's my personal take.
Anu's from India.
She is.
And she's a woman.
She is. Yeah, that'll be great.
Tech needs women.
100%. But what Anu's doing right now, that has been amazing. If Anu is the next CEO, I'm very hopeful. I'll say this very again. She's been one of the OGs in the game. She's seen it all.
What is an OG?
Original gangster.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the leaders, let's say.
Yeah.
One of the people who have seen it and grown it like to the place where it is today. I remember the conversation you had with her during the keynote last year, and when she was talking about her own journey, when she came through, just being a nerd about gaming to where she became today. That's very inspiring. And if maybe Anu comes and becomes the next CEO, that might be really good for the ecosystem.
Yeah, cool. You're one of the people behind Atlassian Rovo.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to be part of an awesome team building Rovo, a new product we announced today.
I was super interested and loved it when you told me everything about AI that Atlassian did the last year, and you've been very into the topic. Oh man, all BI people need to watch out because AI is going to create all these charts automatically.
Yeah.
And what's the new stuff on that? Is that Rovo?
Rovo. Rovo is what we're calling a knowledge discovery product that helps teams do three things: find information in their company, learn about it, because they just don't want to find it, they need to learn and turn it into knowledge, and then take action with AI-powered agents. So that's what Rovo does. Do you want me to go into details?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay.
I love the find part where you can now search stuff from cloud software that is not Atlassian.
Yeah.
So universal search finally.
Yes.
Well, for years, we even had partnerships around that. Customers have been asking us. So thank you so much for doing that. So there's some construction going on here.
So you can connect your third-party search connectors to Atlassian for Google Drive, Confluent, Google Drive, Figma, Slack, Microsoft Teams, etc. And then the other thing for many enterprise customers is connect to custom data sources, internal docs that you've got, especially the customers that have been around for 20 years.
Can I build this myself then, or?
We don't have build your own custom connectors yet, but that could be something we'll look into. I had already a few customers ask, could I also give you my data center data to appear in my unified search experience? So we could explore and see what options are available there.
What is available right now?
6 different connectors for the most popular SaaS apps, Google Drive, Slack, etc., as well as the custom connectors. And that all shows you your results inside your results with Jira and Confluence and Loom all in one place. So that's Rovo Find. So you're finding information across all the apps you have in your business, Next step is how do we use that information and use the power of AI and the graph of data that we have to turn that into knowledge. So when someone's searching for a project called like Blueberry, you're like, oh, what's Blueberry? Rovo knows that's a project. It can tell you who worked on it, and it can source this information from a SharePoint document or from a Confluence page or from a Google Drive or a mix of all of them to answer the question for you.
I think especially getting the data from other sources is something that makes a huge difference. Maybe only because we have an enterprise license with Atlassian, but the rainbow underlying below the keywords isn't that, that's been around for a couple of months already,
Yes,
isn't it?
we released some of the features of Rovo Run in, I want to say December last year was when we released them. And so that was in Confluence. You'll notice it's still in beta because we have been working on Rovo for a while.
Is that going to go away then?
That will be in Rovo. Yeah, that's why it's in a beta thing. The underlying thing that you have is part of Rovo, as well as it's coming to Jira as well. And Rovo will have a browser extension so that as you use other SaaS products, kind of like Grammarly or something like that, you'll see your company's knowledge follow you everywhere. So when someone refers to something in a slide, you know, you can, on a Google slide, you know what that's talking about. In addition, Rovo not only answers the questions for you, it gives it to you in context with the cards that you talked about, and lets you chat to it with AI chat. So wherever you'll have AI chat on Atlassian's product, this one is in the flow of your work in Jira or in Confluence. Example, if you're on a Confluence page and you want to say, find me related support tickets for this page, it knows what this spec is and go find Jira issues and come back and do that. And then put them in the editor for you. And so with Rovo Chat, you can interact with your company's knowledge and ask questions.
And that's also where those Rovo agents come in, where you then can have a specific skill, for example, a draw IO skill, and say, look, I have this page, can you create a diagram from that for me? And it's actually possible, right? There are already APIs and you're planning to offer that. Can you explain us a little bit about how this will work?
Yeah, the way to think about it is everywhere your team members appear, so at mentioning someone or commenting or editing with them in a Confluence page, you can add an agent if your team decides to and chooses it. And so what you can do is you can create an agent or use one of our out-of-the-box agents. And an agent can help you write your Confluence page that's trained on a particular knowledge. Or your team, Martin's team at Draw.io, create an agent to help turn text into charts. So as you're writing, you can be like, oh, suggest a chart to do this for me. Or in a Jira issue, you could ask agent to read the description and do something with it. For example, read the description and generate a draft proposal for this change or whatever it is, and write it as a comment. And so you can collaborate with your agents like you can with your teammates. So the examples we showed today are agents that review company brand guidelines from a Confluence page. What's cool about that one is that the agent uses a Confluence page as its knowledge. So all the team has to do is keep updating a page, and the agent just gets smarter.
I liked a lot in the keynote that for the marketing department, you said, is this on brand? And then the chatbot would just look at a space and see, oh, this is not the right color, this is not the right words. And you're using that word, but we
call it this word.
We want to call this way. So why don't you change that? And that's very interesting. Are you still frightened about what I will do, or did it tame down a little and you say, oh no, we're going to ride this wave with Atlassian now?
I think, look, with all new technology waves, there is we have to proceed with caution and watch out as you go. I think
so your agents always ask, right? Should I be doing that? So they don't do something just out of the blue because I just had a prompt. But
important call out. Yeah. So all Rovo agents only take action with your instruction, and they will always wait for confirmation before you do anything. So you would ask the agent to do something, it'll come back with a proposal before it does that thing. I think the opportunities that agents will create for teams to work on higher valuable stuff is going to increase over time. The other example we have or demoing is agent to clean up your backlog and find related issues and organize them together. You create some new work in Jira and you want to group the issues together. That takes hours of work, depending on how big your backlog is. That's low value work. It's not exciting. There's no cognitive brain power used for that. It's pretty boring. Great use of AI. So I think it'll accelerate work that people do faster. And then the other thing it'll do is it'll give them more options to have more tools that they didn't have before. So I'm not a very creative person. I can now use an agent to help draw with me and give me ideas.
Yeah.
So it gives me more power for that as a person.
Last year, like it sounded, and maybe I'm not saying it correctly, but all these BI tools, they're going to be obsolete
that's a great,
because AI will tomorrow just read all your raw data and then dynamically create the chart that you want. So all these BI tools will be obsolete. That sounded to me, it was the first time I thought about that, and it sounded to me, this is creating fear. And so did you lose some of that fear, or
no.
do you think no, that's still true? And
No. I think that's a great example. We look at the BI tool and you go, what problem does it solve? That problem is help me answer a question from a large amount of the data. The solution we have before generative AI is to do that. You need to understand the SQL, draw a chart, interpret that chart. So even if you draw the chart, you still haven't answered the question, right? Okay, I can see sales are trending down. Then I've got the answer. So you're like, okay, well, with generative AI and large language models, well, we can kind of actually just give you the answer. So then you go, okay,
and
well,
back it up with a chart. If
correct,
you want.
yeah, and well, absolutely, we have to reference. We know that AI hallucinates, and that'll get better over time. When you see that trajectory, you go, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it just means organizations getting value from big data is going to be more democratized, which is only good for our customers. Now, if you're the business running the BI tool, whatever, we need to. It's the same with us at Atlassian. We're asking ourselves, how is AI changing project management? How is AI changing content creation? Today, everyone creates everything manually in Confluence. AI is going to accelerate that.
Rather ask the bot; he knows better than the agent.
And bots today, because of generative AI, are much better than they were 10 years ago with the bot era. They're much better at understanding, and because of these large language models. And so, like, I would say out of all industries, that's definitely one we see the most benefit that's already happening. Repetitive work, customer service work that's highly repetitive. That is, with bots you didn't have voice and tone, and you didn't have you couldn't tailor it and go back and forth, and all of that's changed. So I think it's exciting, but also we should proceed with caution and understand what are we doing at each step. So
let's go a little bit more basic and core to Jira. So I really love Jira lists. And the way Anu put it, people love spreadsheets, and now we're bringing the power of spreadsheets into Jira. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Did you have your hands on that already? Is it all tables that I saw in Jira Cloud so far were so slow that I created the Jira API, synced the data somewhere else where I could manipulate it fast and then pipe the changes back into Jira. So, and people say, "Oh, Martin, this is complex. Why are you doing that?" Say, "Oh, it's because
faster."
It's just much faster for a lot of." And is Jira Lists going to change this problem for me?
Yeah, Jira Lists is rolled out almost to 100% of cloud customers already. So I've been using it already. Jira Lists originated from Jira Work Management. So when we learned Jira Work Management, we realized a lot of those non-technical teams, they just want to operate with lists, not boards or backlogs. That's their first mental model. Within months of that, it was very clear to us that lists should be in all Jiras. But it's almost, I think it's, don't quote me on this, but it must be close to roll out to everyone. I did see a stat that it is in progress. But and if you're a Jira software customer, on the left sidebar, I'm using it internally, there's a list tab.
You didn't even tell us, you've introduced you'll not like it, but Notion-like navigation and layout now into Jira. It wasn't more than a side note.
Okay. What did you think of it?
I read some people on social media hating it, and I don't have a specific opinion on that yet. I do know that a lot of small customers in USA did prefer Notion over Confluence, for example. Which is something that I don't like as someone who's dependent on the success of Atlassian. So Atlassian adopting some of their concepts does seem to me like a very smart thing. But that's very shallow. So rather you tell us a little bit about the new interface.
The genesis behind that is actually nothing to do with Notion. As you heard today, we're bringing our Jiras together. And so as a result, there's going to be more configuration given to end users to decide how they want to run their projects. And so moving to that left structure and having sections on the left for the different types of projects, and because every project you're in might have a different set of experiences, will help the UI scale a lot better for as Jira becomes much more flexible with the different views. that it'll have. And so a big part of that navigational change is in aid of supporting